Good night, everyone, and welcome back to another DTools Cloud After Dark webinar. Thank you for being DTools customers, tuning in and giving us so much helpful feedback. Like always, I'm going to breeze through a PowerPoint of our agenda before we dive in, and at the end of our presentation, we'll do a live Q&A to talk more about the software and how we can help. If you're a new user, welcome to the DTools Cloud team. I'm Leanne. I also go by LB, and I'm a customer success manager here at DTools. I'll be hosting this evening. Andre and Tiffany are also customer success managers, and we're here to help train you guys, coach you on best practices, and pass your feedback on to our product and development team. Megan and Veronica are your DTools Cloud account managers, and they're here to help guide you as you onboard and maximize your use of the software by adding training hours and services to help you guys to scale your businesses.
Okay, let's get into it. If you're not using our Avalara Tax Integration, please get started today. This tax integration provides you with the ability to automatically generate tax rates based on your opportunity site addresses. All right, so go ahead and turn that on. I'll show you where that is. Adjustments are really powerful. They are discounts and upcharges you can add to your products and labor in a quote. So if you didn't already know, you can set your adjustments to be auto-applied for all of your quotes rather than adding it each time. Okay, and you now have the ability to assign custom names to multiple site addresses for your clients, and this will make it easier to distinguish between multiple properties that your client owns. Okay, and I'll also be sprinkling in some shortcuts and commands. We're going to get deep into some visual quoting tonight. Clients absolutely love this. It's really nice to be able to pull in their floor plan and add products to it to get them excited while generating their bill of materials at the same time. And while doing that, I'll show you how to turn on client mode so that they don't see your costs and other sensitive pricing information. All right, we'll talk about alternates, giving your clients some good, better, and best options and allowances. Love this feature. They're super flexible to use, and you can calculate costs and pricing based off of your product and labor totals, or create generic products and use them to help your client get an estimate of what they'll be spending with you. Okay, so let's head over into our settings. Okay, and before we get started, I don't want to forget to call out our new two-way communication with QuickBooks Desktop. So when an invoice is sent or paid off by your client, your payment term statuses will now be updated to payment requested or paid. All right, and this went out in our last build. So it was already happening with QuickBooks Online, but now we offer it with QuickBooks Desktop too. So we're excited about that. Okay, so let's head over into the catalog and talk about our adjustments. Okay, so again, these are discounts or upcharges that you can add to your products and labor in a quote. So I'm going to go ahead and add shipping and handling here. All right, we'll just put that at 5%. All right, and I'm just going to go ahead and create that. Then you'll just hover over the adjustment, hit this ellipsis, and then auto apply. All right, and I'm going to apply it to my product total and save. Okay, so moving forward, whenever I create another opportunity and I'm working on a quote, I don't have to remember to add that in. It's already going to be there for me. Okay, taxes are next. All right, so this is where you can turn on that Avalara Tax Integration. It's going to automatically set those taxes for you based on the project address that you pop in when creating that opportunity. All right, and just a heads up, this will not apply to opportunities that were created before this setting has been turned on. Okay, so let's leave settings and let's take a look at one of my accounts. All right, so I'm going to find my Alma Cocina account here. It's one of my favorite restaurants. And I'm going to take a look at my contact info. So here's where you can add multiple site addresses, right? Hit this green button here, name it, pop in the address, and create. And so here's where you can see my Buckhead location and the Alpharetta location. So now that I have those site addresses there, when I create an opportunity, I'm just going to put test here, select my project type and my market type, and I'm going to search for Alma Cocina. All right, and then you'll find this change text here in green. If I hit that, now I can choose which location I want to work at. Okay. But I'm going to jump into an opportunity that I'm already working on. All right, we're going to work with crispy bacon today. And I'm going to jump into my quote and into design. All right, so let's add a camera here. All right, I'm going to search for my Luma camera. I've added it as a favorite here. I'm going to quickly pop this in and let's talk about our alternates. All right, so if I hover over this item and hit this ellipsis, I can add or edit my alternates. So I want to give my client two different options here, right, to choose from once I share the proposal. So I'm going to add one more camera. So I'm going to name this, let's name it Luma Cameras for now. And I'm going to search for another. All right, so I'm going to also offer this black one. All right, and there it is. And you can also use these labels for good, better, and best. And in this case, I'm just going to use white and black. All right, and let's go ahead and save this. And you can also hit this box here to apply when adding that same item in future quotes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now I can see that I have this alternate tag here. All right, so again, just a nice way to give your client some options to choose from when viewing the proposal. Okay, and then something that we've all been asking for, we finally got it out the door. You guys can now move items up and down in the quote or in the design tab instead of doing it in the proposal, right? So yes, I want to change my display order here, right? So now we can, again, move items up and down. All right, so before you had to do it when editing the proposal, but now you can do it in this view. We're really excited about that. All right, so next up, let's talk about allowances. So I'm going to hit this new item text here in green, right? And I'm going to create a product allowance. So allowances are really great for budgetary purposes. So let's say your client wasn't sure what brand of cameras they wanted in the patio. Just create a generic camera item here and pop in a number so that they can get an idea of what they'll be spending with you. And this really just helps to speed things up. Right? You can also make this price calculated, right, by the percentage of your products or labor totals here, which is also really nice. And I actually have some examples of allowances right here, right? My miscellaneous materials is being calculated on my product total. And let me just show you an example of a camera allowance that I have. Right there. And there it is. Okay, and then after you've added these different allowances, right, or these different generic line items, you can always come in and then replace it with an actual camera. Right, so if I wanted to replace this with this here, And actually, I'll use my black one. I'm just going to select this and replace it. And there it is. All right, so love allowances. So let's get into visual quoting next, right here under list. All right, so I've already added a floor plan here, and here's another tip or trick. If you hold down your space bar, you can zoom in and out of the floor plan a lot easier. You can also grab this and move it around. All right, so if you didn't know, now you know. Okay, and then before we actually start to add our items to the floor plan, I want to call out some of the features here in this toolbar. So this Files tab, if you wanted to add another plan, it's way easier to do it here. Right, so as a best practice, if you're working on multiple levels, create multiple plans here. Adding a bunch of files to one floor plan can get sort of messy. All right, so add your plans here instead of having to exit here, go to the Overview tab, and then find those drawings there. All right, we also have some shapes here. So shapes are really cool if you want to create a type of legend or represent products without affecting the bill of materials. And something that I actually learned the other day was that if you select this polygon shape, all right, I'm going to grab this. You can change the amount of sides it has, right? So I can hit sides here and I can change this into a hexagon if I want to. All right, you can change the color of this, the weight of the line if you want, and also the line type. Really cool stuff. All right, the gear icon here also represents your settings. So if you wanted to hide the location names and borders, if your plan was already marked up, you can. You can also size your icons here and turn your coverage shapes on. All right, so let's actually start adding some equipment. All right, so I'm going to hit this little tab up here in the left, and let's create our pool house location here. All right, the software doesn't recognize these locations until you drag and drop them on top of the floor plan. So I'm going to hover over my location here and hit this icon, and I'm going to draw this out. All right, and there is my pool house. And because we already have the name there, I'm going to hide my location names. Okay. So before we start to build our or bring our equipment in, let's say I'm sitting in front of my client, right, trying to get them excited. I don't want to show them any sensitive pricing, right, or my costs. So I'm going to hit this ellipsis up here at the very top, and I'm going to turn on my client mode, right, so they don't see the costs, the margins, any markups, or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. Now let's start to search for our items. All right, so I'm going to type here in the search bar, and let's just look for some speakers. I'm going to use these here, and I'm going to use my quick add feature. Okay, and I'm just going to start to click all over in my pool house. And we're done. And again, we can always size these icons to make them as big or small as we need them to be. Okay, and then when I select one of these items, I'm not seeing any sensitive pricing information, right? This is just the price for my client. Right, and we also have our coverage shape. So let's go ahead and turn our coverage on. So I also want to communicate to my client how loud it's going to get here in the pool house, right? So you can define your angles, the lengths, and the directions here, but I can also just select that coverage shape here and play with this on my floor plan and expand here as well. All right. So now that we've done that, oh, and one more thing before I forget, we also have polygon location. So just in case you guys have any weird shaped rooms, you don't have to draw out a box or a rectangle. If you hit the locations here at the very bottom, you can also select the polygon location, right? And then you can start to just click anywhere onto the floor plan, right? And then you just want to make sure that you close this off. And it's okay if you don't have that location yet. You can always click into this drop down and create that new location. All right, so really nice things that you can do here in visual quoting. And again, it's really nice to get your clients excited and to show them exactly where their speakers are going to be placed in their pool house. Right, and it's building out your bill of materials at the very same time. So now that I've added this equipment here, if I come back into my list view, I can see that my pool house is here, and here are my speakers. So let's actually add this floor plan to our proposal so that we can share it with the client. All right, so I'm going to edit my proposal here. Here's my proposal template, and let's find our attachments. All right, so I'm going to edit this section here, and I'm going to browse out to my quote and opportunity attachments, and I'm going to pull my plan in. All right, and there it is. So then you're going to share this with your client, right, top right, but let's put it in present mode to see what the client sees. Okay, we're going to scroll, scroll, scroll. And here are those alternates, right? So as a client, I can choose between this white camera or my black one here. All right, when I select this, it's going to update my proposal, right? And you can also see the changes here at the very bottom. All right, I can see my 6 speakers here in my pool house. And then here is that plan. All right, so again, as a client, I can view this and take a look at my own pool house. And turn my coverage on as well. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap on tonight's favorite features.